Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And I got a question from a subscriber, and he wanted to know, how do you deal with Japanese parents of the girl you're thinking about getting married to that don't like you, and they see things through the eyes of the Caucasian or white people living in the United States of America? Oh man, that's a good question, man. This is one of the best questions I think I've got so far. And it's a complicated thing, man. It really is. Because it's going to depend upon the girl and the parents. It's not a one-shot deal type thing when it comes to the parents and how they see things. So let's put things in perspective here. Let's just keep it 100. Now, if you're a black male, we're the most hated motherfuckers on the planet. This is just in general. I'm not talking about it as an individual. As an individual, it varies. But I'm talking about as a whole. As African people across this planet, we're the most hated motherfuckers around the world. As a whole, as a people, right? I'm not talking about it as an individual. And now, a lot of Japanese people have been socialized to think and see things through the eyes or the lens of whites and Europeans. Because you got to keep in mind that Japan is just a white European colony. That's all it is. You know, they've lost the war and they signed a peace treaty years ago. Go look that up. They lost the war and they signed a peace treaty. And go look up what a peace treaty is and what happens once these politicians in these countries sign the peace treaty. Look at what's entailed in these peace treaties. And this is why a lot of Japanese people see things through the lens of whites, right? So these parents, for the most part, are like 60 plus years of age. And a lot of them don't speak any other language. They only speak Japanese. So you're 9 times out of 10, you don't speak fluent Japanese. You might speak enough Japanese to communicate with them, but they want to talk to you, especially the mom. See, the mom wants to talk to you about everything, but she can't communicate with you in the manner that she would like because you don't speak fluent Japanese. So that's the first thing they don't like about you. Second thing they don't like about you is you're a foreigner, right? Now, I'm going to keep it real. Now, the parents really want their daughter to marry a Japanese girl. They never imagined their daughter would marry anybody else but a Japanese person, right? So when the daughter comes to them and says, hey, I'm marrying a foreigner, not only am I marrying a foreigner, he's black. So in most Japanese parents' mind, if you're going to marry a foreigner, marry anything else but black. Because, again, they see through things. They've been brainwashed just like people that live in America, and just like any other person looks like, just like most people living around the world. It just depends on what country and what nation it tends to be. And Japan tends to be one of those nations where they put white people on a pedestal. So they'll say, hey, if you're gonna marry anybody, marry a white guy, because see, they see white guys as kind of like a come up. You're brightening up the family. You're uplifting the family, right? So, however, now it depends. It depends on how old she is too. Now, if she's say 30 plus years of age, maybe 35, 40, I would say 35, 40. The parents they're taking that in consideration as well, because the parents is looking at like, if she's 35, 40, there's a good chance that she's not going to get married to a Japanese guy. So the parents will kind of have to be a little flexible and deal with the situation. And if a foreigner was to, if their daughter was to date a foreigner, they probably would deal with it. They wouldn't necessarily like it, but they would deal with it only because they know she's old in Japan. See, 35 is old in Japan. So they would say, you know what? She's an older girl. I have to make I have to compromise my beliefs. Plus, I want some grandkids as well. So if she's happy with this guy, and the guy takes care of her, so be it. You know what I'm saying? So the parents take all that shit into consideration. Now, if she's a younger girl, say if she's like 23, 21, 23, 24, around that age, the parents is gonna fucking be super upset. You know, they're gonna be fucking upset. I mean, they're gonna be very angry. The mom might pass the hell out. You know what I'm saying? Because the parents would probably look at it like whatever they did to raise the daughter, it didn't work, because she's 22, 23, and she wants to marry a foreigner, or she wants to date a foreigner. And, the parents will be highly upset at such a young age that their daughter would want to marry a foreigner and not marry a Japanese guy. I mean, that's how they would look at it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, in a situation like that, if you were to marry a girl that's 23 and the parents don't approve of it, and if you were to go through with the marriage and everything, it would take years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years before the parents accept that their daughter got married to you, especially if you're black. You know what I'm saying? And I've known guys that have gotten married to Japanese girls and the parents disapprove of it, and it took 2, 3 years, 4 years before the parents really came to, came down to reality that they was gonna be together for a long time. And that's another thing too. A lot of times if you get married to a girl, Japanese girl, and the parents disapprove of it, the parents will be low key trying to split y'all up and break y'all up. They'll try to do that shit. Like, for example, if you move to America, they'll just come up with random excuses, like just trying to form like a wedge in between, just so, because they don't want the girl to be with you. And especially if kids come into play as well, because the way they do things in Japan, when the daughter have kids, the daughter usually stay with the parents for sometimes weeks, months at a time. So that sometimes if the girl lives in America or anywhere else, sometimes that's a good excuse for the parents to justify why she should move back to Japan, because she has a baby and she don't know what she's doing. Because in Japan, they have this thing where old people supposed to tell young people what to do, because they feel like young people don't know what the hell they be doing. So there might be some truth to that. I don't know, but that's what that stems from. If an old person tells a young person something, especially if it's your parents, you're supposed to just do it. You're not supposed to question anything. So a lot of times that puts the Japanese girl that's married to the foreigner in a really tough position, because she'll be kind of torn. She'll be going back and forth mentally. Well, should she stay? Should she leave? Should I stay? Should I leave? You know what I'm saying? So the parents will try to manipulate the situation, and a lot of times the parents have talked a lot of their daughters into moving back to Japan, and left the guy, and she never came back to the guy. So it happens. You know what I'm saying? And from a guy's point of view, it's kind of a sticky situation as well, because you don't want to be in a battling match with somebody else's parents, because you're not going to win that game. I mean, there's a lot of women that have tried to get in battles with mama's boys, and it's a losing battle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really a complicated situation, but it's not a one shoe fits all or one shot deal type situation. It really depends on the parents and the girl and the age of the girl, and there's a lot of things to consider. But at the end of the day, the parents really want their daughter to marry a Japanese guy. But if she's above age, they'll bend a little bit. They'll bend, but they won't break. You know what I mean? So, that's just how a lot of Japanese people are, man. It's really a tough situation to be in, really. Because, and another thing that makes it so hard and makes it so difficult sometimes, the parents on some levels will never really accept you as accept you into the family, really. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they'll kind of go along to get along, or to kind of put up a good front, whatever. But in reality, they will more than likely will never accept you into the family. Now, they'll treat you nice and everything, because they don't want, they want to keep the harmony, and they don't want no problems or no fuss or no fight or anything like that or whatever. Because, Japanese people like to keep the harmony. They don't really like any type of drama going on, for the most part, unless it's pretty much gone too far. But for the most part, the agenda is to keep the harmony, keep the peace, and just go along to get along and conform. So that's pretty much what happens when that's pretty much how you deal with the Japanese parents if the girl don't like you. You really have to play it based on your situation. I wish I could tell you one way fits all, but unfortunately it just don't work out like that. And many situations in life don't work out like that. So if you have any more questions, click the link below. If you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.